Going live. All right, two travelers in Mexico outside on our balcony. It's a beautiful day today at noon.
On December 12th. No, 13th.
13th, Saturday.
Yeah,
Video comes out tomorrow.
Yeah.
So today we are going to talk about the 2026 temporary residency visas.
And a permanent residency visa, too.
Right. We do have to read notes because it's too hard to remember all this, so forgive us in advance.
And why is that? Because we're old.
No, I wouldn't be able to remember all this even if I was 18 years old. Oh, wait, maybe 18 you're doing a lot of stuff you shouldn't be doing. Maybe at 25. I don't know. Some people still do stuff into their 60s that they shouldn't be doing.
That's true.
So, okay. Ready?
Yep.
All right, so we're just going to switch back and forth reading, but again, forgive us. But it's pertinent information for a lot of people that are considering moving to Mexico. Okay, your first temporary resident visa starts with a pre-approval at the Mexican can't even talk. Let's start over. Take one.
Start from that, the top.
2026, page 1 of 6.
Yeah.
Is that where you want me to start?
All right, you guys see what I'm working with now.
2026 temporary resident visa. Your first temporary resident visa starts with a pre-approval at the Mexican consulate outside of Mexico. You need to check to see which consulate will set an appointment for you. The consulate requirements: photo and face uncovered. Uncovered, of course it's uncovered.
Yeah, they're not going to want to take a picture of you wearing a full ski mask for sure.
Or burqas, or is that what they're called?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know why that was in there uncovered, but anyhow. Photo and face. No glasses, front view, in color, white background, 3 by 9 centimeters times 3 by 1 centimeters. So it's basically 1.53 inches by 1.5 inches. This is not American passport size, although some consulates may accept them. I don't know. They are referred to as an infantile size. The fee for a temporary residency visa, US dollars, is $56 per person. And in Canada, it's $83 per person for your residency fee. Mexican consulate application is to be printed out double-sided, 1 per person, complete and take with you. The application will ask you what your best estimated port of entry and date of entry is. On question 22, which states length of stay in Mexico for temporary resident pre-approval, check more than 180 days and less than 4 years. For permanent resident, check definitive. The reason for applying to live in Mexico or to retire in Mexico. Complete question 1 through 26 and nothing more. Also, please do not sign. You want to take the next one is number 4, passport.
You will need your passport and a copy of the passport page. For financial statements, some consulates want originals. Check with the Mexican consulate that you're going to use. If an account is in both names, and both names appear in the financial statements, the following amounts are based on an 18 peso to US dollar ratio and a 14 peso to 1 Canadian dollar ratio. Some consulates, in fact most really, I think, use the multiplier minimum wage, which is at 315 pesos a day, instead of using UMA, which they can use and is easier to qualify on, but none of the consulates really use it.
And actually 315 pesos a day for the minimum wage is basically like maybe $18.
Yeah, which is not a lot.
No.
But when you consider that it's a multiple of that,
Right.
like 200 times that.
Right, I'm just saying for
yeah.
the average Mexican worker,
Yeah,
$18 a day.
yeah.
I mean, there's minimum wage, you know, is over $18 a day
In California.
in California. So that's per day.
All right, so here come the minimum income requirements for the temporary residency visa in 2026. Monthly income of $5,250 US, 6,750 Canadian. That's 300 days times the minimum wage of 315 pesos. Employment or pension showing 6 months of bank statements and each month with at least the minimum, or one investments minimum 87,500 US, 112,500 Canadian, and that is 5,000 days times the minimum wage of 315, with 12 months of individual statements and each month at least at the minimum, or home ownership in Mexico, and get this, 12,600,000 pesos per person, which is
That's like 600,000?
more than that, maybe closer to 650,000 or 700,000.
Wow.
And that
Wow.
is 40,000 days of minimum wage at 315 pesos per person. You will need
That's
your
crazy.
deed and a copy. If two people are on the title, the home value needs to be double that.
That is insane.
Yeah.
And what
that's-
did we pay for our house when we bought it? Like 4.5 years ago? 3.1 mil?
3,150,000 pesos, which at the time was about 158,000 US. And so the requirements have
Wow.
about quadrupled in that time.
And let me add, this is why we always tell you guys, do it as soon as you can.
Yep.
Because the requirements just keep going up.
and up and up by 20% a year or more.
Yeah.
Appointment confirmation. Original copies of marriage licenses when a spouse is sponsoring the other, and birth certificates for children. Make an appointment, check the consulate's website and Facebook page. Some consulates have an email address or phone number, but rarely will the phone be answered. And we've seen that a bunch of times
That's
in different
true.
Facebook groups.
That's true.
Prior to leaving the consulate, please check your pre-approved visa in your passport to ensure that your name is spelled correctly and your birth date is accurate, and male, female is indicated correctly, and that your country is correct. If you applied for temporary resident, that what you received is not permanent resident, which for those bringing a car will be an issue. If you're given permanent residency, you cannot
No.
bring a U.S. plated car or foreign plated car into the country.
Yeah, remember
in most
that.
cases, with the exception of the free zone. Similarly, if you applied for a permanent resident pre-approval, please confirm. Errors will cause long delays in finalizing your residency in
Yes, they
Mexico.
Okay. All right, permanent residency visa. The permanent resident visa, which is referred to as a PR or RP, I forget which way it goes.
Residency permanent.
Yeah, but they usually say
Yeah.
it backwards, is for those who plan to live in Mexico permanently. Makes sense, right? You have to start with a pre-approval at the Mexican consulate, and the process is the same as a temporary resident. The permanent residency visa is for those who plan to live in Mexico permanently. You have to start out with a pre-approval at the Mexican consulate, and the process is the same as the temporary resident. I think I read this already. Consulate requirements, it's the same with the photos, but I'll reiterate it. Photo with no glasses, front view, in color, white background, 3 by 9 centimeters by 3 by 1 centimeters, 1.53 inches by 1.2 inches. This is not American passport size. In Mexico, this is referred to as the infantile size. The fee for the permanent residency visa, the application fee we're talking about, is $56, same for temporary or for permanent. $56 per person, cash, right? Isn't it cash that you usually have to pay? Cash. And in Canada, $83 for your residence per person. Mexican consulate visa application is to be printed. Again, I'm going to reiterate everything. Printed, double-sided, 1 per person, complete and take with you. Best estimate for port of entry and date of entry is acceptable. On question 22 for temporary residency pre-approval, check more than 180 days and less than 4 years. For permanent resident, check definitive. For reason for application, to live in Mexico or to retire in Mexico, complete question 1 through 26 and nothing more, and do not sign. You need your passport plus the copy. For a financial statement, again, I'm just reiterating everything. If you need to go back and watch it 3 or 4 times this video, do it. Write it down. Get it lodged in your head. For financial statements, some consulate wants the original. Check with your Mexican consulate. If an account is in both names, you have to have both names appear on your financial statements. The following amounts are based on a 18-to-1 ratio, US dollar, and 14-to-1 Canadian. Some consulates refer to a multiplier using the minimum wage, which is 315 pesos, about $18 US per day is what that amounts to. The amounts are per person. When sponsoring a child or spouse, the additional financial amount required for the person sponsoring is sometimes as little as 25% more. So keep that in mind. Minimum monthly income. Are you ready? Brace yourselves.
Hold on to your seats.
Hold on to your seat. Minimum monthly income is $8,750 US dollars per month. That is insane. Insane. Again, what do I always say? Do it sooner than later, because this is what you guys are going to be up against in 2026. This is insane. So many are not going to be able to qualify. We would never be able to qualify.
No.
Okay, and for Canadian, it's 11,250 Canadian. Was that what it comes out to in US dollars, the 11,000?
No, that's
Canadian?
pesos to Canadian dollars.
Okay. 500 days times the minimum wage at 1,500 or 1,315. Employment or pension showing 6 months of bank statements, and each month not less than the minimum, or minimum investment of 350,000 Canadian, 450,000. And it says that it's based on 20,000 days times minimum wages of 315 pesos, with 12 months of individual statements, and each month not less than the minimum. Number 6, well, we have number 6 here.
Appointment confirmation form.
Yeah. Original and copy of marriage license when spouse is sponsoring the other, and birth certificate of children. To make an appointment, check the consulate website and Facebook page. Consulates have an email address and a phone number. Prior to leaving the consulate, again, Please check your pre-approved visa in your passport to ensure that your name is spelled correctly, your birthday is correctly, male or female is correctly, and if you apply for temporary residence, that you, if you apply for temporary residence, that what you receive is not permanent resident, which for those bringing a car can be an issue. Okay, if you apply for permanent residency, pre-approval, please confirm that the information is correct on what you have from the Mexican consulate in the United States. Very important, because it'll really screw things up once you get to Mexico. And they may accept it and they may not, and it may be a nightmare from hell. Entering Mexico with a visa from a Mexican consulate. Once approved, you have 6 months to enter Mexico. And once you enter, you have 30 days to start your visa process, or at least make an appointment at the immigration office. I suggest do not wait until the last minute. Why? Because shit can happen. Don't do it. Don't do it.
And don't think that you're going to wait 5 months and 3 weeks before you cross the border, because it'll never get done on time.
Just don't do it. Don't wait until the last minute, because things that could go wrong can go wrong, and you are on a time frame here.
Yep. An important thing, because if you mess that up, you're going to be starting the process all over at a consulate somewhere outside of Mexico.
Yeah. The 30 days includes the day you enter Mexico, but you must start your process in Mexico prior to the visa expiration date. For example, you may not enter Mexico 2 days prior to the visa expiring and think now you have 30 days to start your visa process at immigrations in Mexico. Not going to happen.
Nope.
Once you are approved at a Mexican consulate outside of Mexico for temporary or permanent residency, you may only enter Mexico once. Remember this. And at that time, you must process your visa at immigration. Your consulate visa states, no de estradas, no, I think it's supposed to be no of entries.
Number of entries?
Yeah. Una. So you only get one entry. So don't be leaving because you're going to mess things up. You have to stay here during that process.
Use that one entry wisely.
Yeah. Should you enter Mexico and leave without processing your resident visa card, you will need to start all over again at the Mexican consulate outside of Mexico. When you enter Mexico, show your passport and your visa. At the border crossing, you will be issued an FMM marked Kanye West.
Although he's not going to help you get a visa, but
marked Kanye, and number 30 for 30 days. Your visa in your passport will be date stamped. For those entering in the airport with no FMM and only date stamp, right? There's no FMM at the airport?
no, you have to do it electronically.
Oh, okay. The word Kanye and the number 30 in your passport, you must scan the QR code and print out the FMM. Interesting. I don't know if that's something new or if it's always been that way.
It's pretty new within the last year or so.
Wow. Okay. So watch this a couple of times, guys. Once you have uploaded a photo of your passport and you corroborated the information is correct, select Ingresas. How do you say that?
Ingresas?
Ingresas. And next, check the small orange circle with the check mark. Next, selects. Next, selects. I can't even say this. Next, select Descarga for the download icon. You will not be able to process your pre-approved visa at immigration in Mexico without an FMM that has been printed and presented. You may only download it once. Okay, entering Mexico.
Entering Mexico with a visa from a Mexican consulate. Once approved, you have 6 months to enter Mexico. When you enter, you have 30 days to apply to an immigration office. The 30 days includes the day you enter Mexico. I know we're repeating this information, but it saves you from having to go back in the video. But you must start your process in Mexico prior to the visa expiration date. You may not enter Mexico 3 days before the visa expiring and think you will have 30 days to start your visa process at immigration in Mexico. When you enter Mexico, show your passport and visa as issued by the consulate. At border crossings, you will be issued an FMM Marcanje, and it will be for 30 days. Your visa and your passport will be date stamped. If driving at the border, you must obtain a car permit, otherwise known as TIP, the deposit.
Which stands for what?
A temporary import permit.
Right.
The deposit is going to be $200, $300, or $400 US.
It depends on the year of your car.
And the make and model.
Right, and you have to show that information on your vehicle. So make sure that it's in the glove compartment.
And also you have to provide Mexican auto insurance too.
Right, you have to have Mexican auto insurance, and the tip is good for 6 months.
Your FMM and car permit will be good actually for 30 days. And the cost depends on the make and model and year of your car. Paulette said 6 months because that's what they normally give, but the tip is only as good as your first visa, which is 30 days. And then once you get your temporary visa, or that will be good for as long as the visa, but you have to make the effort to ensure that your car is attached to your visa to get the extended time.
And I would probably get help with that.
Yeah, we used a facilitator.
Yeah, get a facilitator for that.
So now we're going to talk about our final thoughts about all of this process. And first, I want to say that when you go into a consulate, you just be kind. Don't go in there with a
attitude.
With an attitude.
Even if they have an attitude, don't do it.
Yeah.
Because they can deny you like that.
Right. Even if you meet all of the requirements, they can still deny you. So.
Yeah, I mean, it happened to me. I've talked about that. I think it was, 3 times or 2 times? They denied me, and I didn't even have an attitude. Well, not one that I brought in with me anyhow.
Yeah, she's always got a little bit of attitude, let me tell you.
But I got denied twice.
Yeah.
And I think the 3rd time they finally let me go because they got tired of seeing my face, and I kept coming back.
Yeah.
But, okay, and so here's some notes that we want to remind you guys of too. Some consulates want 12 months of bank statements and possibly 12 months and signed by the bank employees. Which
makes no sense to me, because how do they know who actually signed it, and how do they even know that they work at the bank? But
right.
Some are requiring that. And I would tell you that most of the documentation says 1 copy. I would have 2 or 3 copies of each thing with you.
More is always better.
Yeah.
I had a shitload of copies of everything.
Yeah.
I mean, I must have had 12 copies of everything. I overdid it.
Right.
But anyhow, yeah, and like Mark said, be kind when you're at the consulate. Remember, they can disqualify you even if you don't meet, or even if you do meet all the requirements, as they did me. Make sure that you have multiple copies of everything. Oh, that's it for your notes?
Yep, that was all.
Wow.
Additionally, I just want to make this commentary. When I first qualified for temporary residency, the requirement was I think around 2,400 US dollars, 2,500 US dollars. And that was 6 years ago now.
6 years
and
ago.
Since then, that has more than doubled.
I thought it was more. I thought it was about 2,800. But
Yeah, I don't think it was quite that high.
Okay. Okay,
But
24.
regardless, it's doubled, even for temporary residency.
yeah, in 6 years, that's crazy. And so many of you guys put this off, but I mean, shoot, with these requirements, I mean, so many people are not going to be able to do it at all.
Yeah,
At all. They might have to do border runs
every 6 months.
every 6 months. And, you know, hopefully they won't slap down on that like they did at that one time. They were really
Right.
slapping down at that. They weren't even giving people 6
Yeah.
months.
About a year or two ago, they were, sometimes you'd only get 7 days or something. It was crazy. Thankfully, we did not have to deal with that. But we always recommend, even if you're not going to move to Mexico for a year or two, qualify now as soon as you can, because the residency is going to go up again in 2027 for the minimum requirements. But
And what's crazy is, like, does Mexico not want Canadians and Americans here anymore? Because that's just, that amount is crazy.
yeah,
That's just crazy.
yeah,
I mean, there's
It
no
is.
way we could qualify for something like that.
not now, no. I mean, I could probably still qualify for temporary residency based on my income. I wouldn't be able to qualify for permanent. And you would not even come close to qualifying for temporary.
What does that tell you? We're not living off the hog, right?
Yeah. It also should tell you that I'm the sugar daddy.
This says no.
Yes, I'm the
'Cause-
sugar daddy.
Okay. This says for the temporary, the monthly minimum is 5,250.
US dollars.
Well, and 6,750 Canadian.
Yep.
Wow. Or investment of 87,500 US for temporary, or 112,500 Canadian.
Yeah, now that investment is not in property in Mexico, it's just
Right,
investments
right.
that you
And
have
then
in
the
the bank.
and then the home ownership for temporary, if you own a home, has to be 12,600,000 pesos.
12,600,000 pesos.
Yeah, sorry, 600. Yeah, right. What Mark said. And you will need your deed and a copy. If 2 people are on title, home value needs to be double.
Yep.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, that is crazy. I mean, so your home would have to be, in Mexico, would have to be in excess of 1.3 million US dollars.
That's
value.
crazy. Yeah, who's going to qualify? The wealthy, the
yeah.
rich and famous? I don't know.
Not you and not me. Based
Yeah,
on that.
not us for sure. And then remember, also, let me go over this. For the permanent, the monthly income has to be 8,750 US, and Canadian 11,250 Canadian dollars.
Now, you still can qualify for temporary, go the 4 years, and then you still have to make an appointment at the INM, but after 4 years, you'll roll into permanent visa without the additional
Well,
financial requirements.
It's been that way.
It's been that way.
It's
Yeah.
been that way. So that's why we always tell you, do it now, because that could be subject to change,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I mean-
like they always say, the only consistent thing about Mexico is inconsistency.
Right. And then we had a friend stay with us that did their 1-year temporary that was going to expire to a 3-year temporary. And when Mark and I did it 6 years ago, there's a little hummingbird, see him?
Yeah, but our
Cute.
viewers aren't going to see
No.
that, so that'll be of no interest to them.
They exhaust me just watching them flap their wings. But it used to be that once you qualified and you went into your temporary to renew it, you did not have to show financials. She had to. It changed. So when she qualified the first time for her temporary, which was a year ago, and it was going to expire, she had to show her financials for renewing for her 3-year.
Well,
So on wrapping up our video for today, you might want to go back and watch it a couple of times. Mark got this information right off the website, right?
Yeah.
For the requirements.
And I also use Sonia Diaz's website too, which is pretty good.
Sonia Diaz. Where is she at? I forget where she is.
She is in the expat community of San Miguel de Allende.
Oh, she is. Okay. So, anyhow, as we always tell you guys from the beginning of time, if you could do it now. Don't wait, because now many that were waiting aren't even going to be able to qualify.
Yeah.
Because we would not be able to qualify.
No.
Yeah. So you would have to look for a new place to live, or like we said, do the run all the time. And that may slow down. They may stop that, as they have before in the past, not giving 6 months.
Yeah.
But anyhow, if you guys like what we're doing, bringing you information, we hope that you will subscribe to our channel, The Two Travelers in Mexico. And we also have a Facebook page, The Two Travelers in Mexico, where we post other stuff on there, dog stuff, because now we have 4 street dogs, which is crazy.
Yeah. We just post a lot of day-to-day stuff about life in Mexico.
Yeah, just whatever stuff that doesn't go usually on our YouTube channel.
Yeah.
So anyhow, we hope that you guys take this information to heart at what we're telling you, not with a grain of salt, because this is some serious numbers. Serious. So.
Yeah. And also, Paulette mentioned subscribing. We would appreciate it if you could do that if you haven't. But also, leave a comment if you have any questions. Hit the like button, share our video.
Or if you have different views on the information that we've given you off of the site, go ahead and leave a comment below. Let us know what you know, if it's something that's different than what we told you today.
Yeah.
And as always, from the Two Travelers in Mexico.
What she did.
Bye.
Bye.